She didn't expect applause. She didn't expect love. All she wanted was for someone, anyone, to look at her without flinching. But that night, at a small cafe table meant for two, she learned that rejection can sometimes be the doorway to destiny. Mina had spent the whole day convincing herself she looked good enough. She had tried on 6 different dresses before settling on a simple navy blue one that hugged her body a little more than she liked. The mirror wasn't always kind to her, but tonight she wanted to believe it could be. Her friends told her over and over that she deserved love, that she was sweet, caring, hardworking, yet all she could ever see were the things the world mocked: her weight, her soft cheeks, the thick arms she tried to hide under long sleeves even in summer. Still, hope pushed her forward as she waited at the small cafe, eyes flicking toward the door every time someone entered. Then he finally walked in, her blind date. He scanned the tables, spotted her, and the disappointment on his face was immediate. Mina's smile wavered as he approached, sliding into the chair opposite her with the stiffness of someone forced into a situation he already regretted. They exchanged small talk, but he hardly made eye contact. When the waiter came, he didn't let Mina speak before saying, "Actually, I don't think this will work." His voice was polite, but sharp enough to cut straight through her. "You're, not really the type I expected." He didn't need to say more. She knew what he meant. Her throat tightened as people at nearby tables pretended not to listen. The men stood, muttered something about being late, and left her sitting alone. Mina felt heat rush to her face, shame, heartbreak, anger, all at once. She wished the ground would swallow her up. Everything around her blurred, the clatter of cups, the soft music, the low chatter. She felt small, unbearably small, as if she didn't deserve to exist in that moment. And yet, even as she stared down at her untouched glass of water, she fought back tears, refusing to cry in public. She wasn't weak. She had survived worse, but then a soft voice broke through her silence. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Mina looked up to find a man standing beside her table. He was in his mid-30s, wearing simple clothes, a gentle smile touching his lips. But what caught her attention wasn't him, it was the little girl holding his hand. She looked about 7, with braids bouncing against her shoulders and big curious eyes scanning Mina's face as if searching for something beautiful there. Before Mina could respond, the little girl tugged at her father's sleeve and whispered a bit too loudly, "Daddy, is she sad?" Mina blinked, embarrassed, but the father crouched down to his daughter and said softly, "Maybe. But sometimes people just need someone to sit with them." When he straightened again, he gave Mina a look full of warmth she hadn't felt in years. "May we join you?" he asked, and for the first time that night, something inside her lifted, just a little. She hesitated, unsure if this was pity or genuine kindness, but the little girl pulled out the chair with such innocent determination that Mina couldn't refuse. They sat, and for a few seconds, the moment felt fragile, like it might break if anyone breathed too hard. The father introduced himself as Daniel, and the girl as Ella, who wasted no time asking Mina question after question: her favorite color, whether she liked cupcakes, if she had any pets. The rapid curiosity made Mina laugh, the sound surprising even herself. Daniel smiled at her laugh, and Mina noticed the tired yet gentle softness in his eyes, the kind of look worn by someone who had carried more responsibilities than most. As they talked, she learned he was a single dad, raising Ella on his own after her mother left 2 years prior. "It's been a learning journey," he said with a half-smile, glancing lovingly at his daughter. "But she's my whole world." Ella grinned at him, leaning into his side proudly. Slowly, Mina's embarrassment melted. Sitting with them felt strangely natural, like she belonged in a moment she hadn't expected. Daniel didn't once glance at her with the discomfort or judgment she had grown used to. He looked directly at her when she spoke. He asked real questions. He listened. It felt almost unreal to be seen, not for her body, not for her insecurities, but for her voice, her thoughts, her presence. But then, as if the universe wanted to test her again, her blind date returned. He walked in with another woman, a slimmer, flashier woman, laughing loudly as they headed to a different table. He didn't recognize Mina at first, not until Ella giggled and Daniel leaned closer to whisper something to her. The moment the blind date spotted them, his smile faltered. He stared at Mina, then at Daniel, confusion turning into something unpleasant, maybe jealousy, maybe annoyance. Mina felt the old panic rise, but before it could swallow her, Daniel gently nudged her hand, grounding her. "Ignore him," Daniel murmured warmly. "People who can't see your worth don't get to define it." Ella nodded with childlike certainty, holding Mina's hand. "You're pretty," she announced. And you laugh like sunshine. Mina swallowed hard, emotion tightening her chest. She had never imagined such kindness, especially not tonight, not after being rejected so easily. And yet here she was, sharing a table with two strangers who felt more comforting than anyone she'd known in a long time. By the time they finished talking, Mina realized she hadn't checked her phone once, hadn't replayed the cruel rejection in her mind. Instead, she felt something unexpected: hope. When Daniel finally stood to leave, he hesitated for a second before asking, "Would you, maybe like to have coffee again sometime? Without the dramatic entrance next time?" Mina froze, surprised. But Ella answered for her, squeezing her hand, "Say yes." And for the first time in years, Mina said yes, without fear. As they walked away, Daniel glanced back, smiling the kind of smile that promised new beginnings, and Mina watched them go, heart full, realizing that sometimes being broken in one moment leads you directly to the people meant to put you back together.